thank the folks in the audience with the yellow T-shirts. They have loved ones or relatives or interested folks about what is going on in Camp Ashraf and the many violations against the freedom-loving Iranians there, and we certainly will keep working so that they get the protection they deserve from the Iraqi government and from our U.S. government as well. So we welcome you today. Pleased to welcome our witness. James B. Steinberg is Deputy Secretary of State, serving as the principal deputy to Secretary Clinton. Appointed by President Obama, he was confirmed by the Senate on January 28, 2009, and sworn in by the Secretary the next day.
We have so much juggling going on that we can't have someone like yourself answer a straight question about the nature of Sharia law. Now, if we can't do that, how do we expect to have the American people and the people of the world understand where we draw the line? To an anti-democratic regime in Iran, when there are demonstrators in the streets against them, we have sort of a muffled response. Well, we can't really go in and side with the demonstrators against this mullah regime dictatorship in Iran. We can't do that because, well, that would be just too intrusive.
In the summer of 2009, many of us in this country were very dismayed over the fact that when the demonstrations broke out in Iran, in the streets, that on day one, our president said nothing. On day two, our president said nothing. Finally, on day three, he said something to the effect that we need a continued dialogue with the clerics. That was extraordinarily disappointing. And then when the people started marching in Egypt, it didn't take the president that long to undermine President Mubarak and said he's got to go. And so I'd like to know what the basis of the president, and at that time you were Deputy Secretary of State, and doing nothing in Iran a year and a half ago. Why didn't he do something?
Well, Congressman, I obviously have a different view on what took place, both in terms of the statements that we made in support of the people in the streets in Iran and the support that we have continued to give for that, as well as our continued focus on the problem of the deprivation of human rights in Iran, including...
No, I'm talking about the response, not the focus. And don't tell me that the people in the streets were supported by the U.S. government, because they were not.
We made clear our strong support for them, but at the same time...
But you didn't. That's not correct. They were not supported.
I think we gave the support that the President articulated and the Secretary articulated about our strong commitment to their rights to peacefully demonstrate, to assemble, the need for the government there to engage with them.
But nothing... Everybody in the world understands that President Obama's position is to push Mubarak out of office. And I'm just really astonished that you think that that's an amazing statement. So why do we do anything more in Iran?
Again, I think our position has been to be clearly to support the rights of the people to demonstrate. We've made clear that we thought that the election was not conducted fairly, openly, that we spoke out against the oppression, we spoke out against the violence.
It was clearly not enough. I mean, I don't think anybody in this country who's interested in Iran turning around was satisfied with the statement of the President of the United States. So what are you going to do now in light of the President's involvement in Egypt? What happens if demonstrations break out in Tehran? What are you going to do now?
We will do as we have done and we've said about demonstrations, whether they're in Syria or in Iran.
I mean, you see, that's the problem. The answer that you gave, that you are giving, I know it's well intended and it's obviously factual, but it's weak. And it's the message of weakness that gets sent abroad as to what the United States is doing. President Obama and the Secretary of State have been very clear about what's going on in Egypt. Granted, the demonstrations there have lasted longer than in Tehran. And either they said directly or inferentially that Mubarak has to leave. And apparently that's going on right now. But it was so weak in Iran. I mean, don't you think that the President's statements go a lot towards formulating public policy when people take to the streets, such as they did in Tehran?
Again, I think the President spoke clearly to this, but I also think there are other things that we did, and partially using tools that you gave us. We've identified members of the Iranian government who are human rights abusers and imposed sanctions on them. We've taken measures to work to appoint a special human rights rapporteur on Iran.
Well, they put three hikers on trial for treason.
And we have made very clear and worked very hard, including...
Well, nothing's working, so are you going to change something in Iran, the policy there?
We have a very comprehensive strategy vis-a-vis Iran, which not only deals with the human rights abuses there, which are substantial, but also the Iranian nuclear program, which has led us, with the leadership of the Congress working together with us, to impose the most comprehensive sanctions on Iran that have ever been imposed, and have led us to help mobilize the international community. And I think the two have gone together, because the fact of the democratic repression and the deprivation.
Well, I just want to, in our remaining time, just let you know how disappointed we were with the President and the very weak response to the people demonstrating for democracy in the streets of Tehran back in the summer of '09.
Thank you, Mr. Manzullo, and I very much agree with you.